Hey y'all, I'm back with another story time. But first I'm going to start off with like a quick disclaimer. But if you're impatient and you're only here for the story time, I will leave timestamps below so you can just skip to it, I guess. But for those of you who care what I have to say, then I want to start off with a few clarifications for y'all, okay? So I know y'all are used to my conversation and motivational type topics. Those are the videos that get me the views and the subscribers or whatever. So I don't want y'all to be confused or thinking like, oh my goodness, what is she doing? Telling me all these story times. I came here to learn how to my life, not to hear a story. Let me just explain, okay? So I'm still new here on YouTube. I've only been here for a couple months, and so it's like, how do I talk about cheer? You know, my OGs know what I'm talking about. Tell my story times, which I love to do, and have my conversations, which I also love to do, without it all clashing, I guess, you know? So I will always think like I would have to give up something in order to just make it all work. But this is my thing and my channel, and I give a about a theme or what the algorithm wants. Be that as it may, the reason why I'm explaining this is because I do care about y'all. I just recently hit 200 subscribers and I am very ecstatic. So hello, welcome, and thank you to all my new people. But yes, I like to talk about stuff that I feel like isn't talked about enough, and I like to tell story times of times in my life that were funny or I fucked up or something I can learn from. I don't know. And yes, I am still cheering. You can kind of find that stuff more in my shorts. And I know I haven't posted about cheer in a while or as much as I used to, but that's because I switched coaches, so I don't really film as much in the gym as I used to. I really like to be focused when I'm with him, but it's really just the same stuff. I'm still just telling. There's no really updates on like how cheer is kind of going for me, and if there are, I will let y'all know. So in essence, I don't want anybody to be confused, okay? I am a follower of Jesus Christ that believes that anything is possible with God, and I show that by having genuine conversation with y'all, telling my story time so maybe y'all can learn something from me, and going for a very unprecedented, unlikely dream, which is being the best cheerleader to ever walk this planet, okay? So I don't want y'all to come to my channel and not know what you might see, you know what I mean, and have it kind of be all over the place. So I just wanted to make things simple and break it down. That's pretty much just what it is. That's my theme, if you will. So I just wanted to clear that up, and now that I have, if you are here to hear a story time about how my ex cheated on me, then keep watching. So I'm gonna start this story after we broke up, because that's just when things kind of unfolded, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So we broke up in January 2023, so like a year ago, but we officially like were done with each other in March 2023. So like, you know, like when you like kind of break up but you're still kind of like around the person, so to speak, that's kind of how it was. But we had that official like we are done conversation with each other that March. And so that last like we're done conversation took place at his apartment that he had just moved into at the time, and he was living with his friend, his best friend actually, and we're just giving him a name because he's actually really important in this story. So let's name him Tyler, and let's name my ex Stuart, like Stuart Little the rat. Yeah, let's name him Stuart. So, and he was also living with his other friend that's really not important in the story, so I'm not gonna give him a name. So yeah, it was Stuart, my ex, Tyler, and their other friends. So it was him and two other guys living in that apartment that he had just moved into. Now I had met Tyler on a couple occasions before. I think I only had met him 2 or maybe 3 times before we like officially like we're done in March. Me and Stuart were done, right? And so he seemed like a pretty cool person. I did not know him all that well, but I did know who he was, and Tyler knew who I was. But yeah, so after me and Stuart were done, we maybe would like talk or text maybe once or twice a week, nothing major, just like, oh, how you doing, whatever, like just staying cordial, because it just wasn't like a big deal, you know. So like it wasn't like, oh I hate you, like it wasn't anything like that. But we were still, you know, I guess friendly towards each other on occasional basis, I guess. So Stuart had a job. He worked at this place called Autobell. It is like a full service car wash where they run your car through the big washer thing, and then you get out and they vacuum it for you and make it smell good and all that stuff. And mind you, Tyler worked at that same Autobell with him too, right? And so because I would go up there sometimes to get a car wash because Stuart was a manager there, and it was free for me. So whenever I would go up there, sometimes it would be kind of slower, and we would like maybe chat, whatever. And because if it's slow at a car wash, there's not really much to do. So sometimes when I would go up there and he would wash my car, we would kind of talk for a little bit after, me and Stuart, but like nothing major, just kind of how you would converse with maybe an associate, right? And so I will always ask him, or like not really ask him, but joke with him and say like, oh, ha, like how many girls you're talking to now, ha, whatever. He will always say none. He will always be like, how many guys you're talking to now? And I would be like, none, which was the truth. When I would say none, it was the truth. But yeah, he would be like, how many guys you talking to? I'm like, none. And then, we would just like kind of joke that way. But I mean, it really wasn't a big deal, even if he was talking to somebody, or if he made me aware that he was talking to somebody, like I didn't really care. But yeah, we would just kind of joke like that sometimes whenever I would go up there to get my car washed. And I knew about his ex before we were even dating or together, because he would always tell me about how horrible she was to him and yada, yada, yada. But they were like on and off for like 2 years or something like that. And I specifically asked him if he was even ready for a like relationship, because it was only 6 months, I think, after they were broken up, I guess. And I felt like that was a little soon to be, starting something new with somebody else, that somebody else being me. And so I asked him, like, are you even ready to like really be in a relationship? And he always said, yeah. So, and let's actually give the ex a name in the story, because she's gonna need a name too. So let's call her Kinsey, okay? So his ex was named Kinsey, right? So yes, all of this took place in around March-ish, April-ish, right? And his birthday was in the beginning of May. So the whole, like, we really, really officially were not together anymore, but we were still kind of cordial with each other, getting my car washed. You always tell me he's not talking to anybody, yada, yada, yada. And so, yeah, all of that was like March, April-ish, right? And like I said, his birthday is in the beginning of May. And so I remember him telling me that he was going to California for his birthday, right? And so he had like some girl that let's call it a e-pal for the lack of better terms. I don't really know how they were communicating. But yeah, he had some girl that lived in California, right? And so he went across the country to see this girl for his birthday. Like, I don't know. I think he was just going to Cali for his birthday to go to Cali, but like she was there, and like I don't know if her being there was the reason why he went to Cali for his birthday, but like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, he went across the country for his birthday to see a girl that he had been talking to, like, through, I don't know, Snapchat, email, I don't know, but like, I just knew that he was going. I was aware that he was going because he told me about it. And so I remember before he left, I got my car washed, and so when I was there, I gave him a birthday card, right? So Stuart goes to Cali and he comes back, and I remember we were like on the phone a little bit after I came back, and I was asking him about his trip. Like, mind you, like, I was being a genuine nice person. Like, it didn't really matter to me that we didn't work out. Like, I still was a just nice and genuine person to him, because I wasn't going to treat him like crap just because he wasn't with me anymore. Like, I didn't really, though I did not, like, it wasn't an attempt to get back with him because I was still talking to him. No, like, I didn't really see it as that big of a deal, okay? So I just keep putting that out there before y'all think like, oh my gosh, like, if you actually see me talking to him at all. Like, it's not, I mean, to me, it's really not that serious depending on how the breakup happened, but that's neither here nor there. So we were on the phone a little bit after he got back from his trip, and I was asking how his trip was, whatever. And then during that same conversation, he told me, not asked me, but told me that he gave Tyler my number because he needed his hair done. And the only reason why Tyler knew that I could do hair, and for those of you that are just new, like, go look at my shorts, can do hair kind of, I just kind of started, but it's just a little way to get like some extra money. So the only reason why Tyler knew that I could do hair is because I did Stuart's hair when we were together, right? And so I guess Tyler wanted me to do his hair too, because he knew that we were still cordial and that we knew each other. So yeah, I guess he just gave Tyler my number without really my permission. So like I said, I knew Tyler, I knew who he was. Obviously we weren't that close, but like, he was not a stranger to me, right? We haven't had like any long major conversations, but like, whenever he was there, whenever I was like with Stuart or at Stuart's house, like, we would just be like, hey, whatever, just normal cordial stuff, right? And so I didn't really see it as like a big deal, because like I said, me and Stuart, we were still like okay, friendly towards each other, and he wanted me to do his friend's hair. I mean, what's the big deal, right? What's the big deal? Oh, we about to get into it. But anyways, so I texted Tyler and I was like, hey, like, when are you free? Like, when is the best time? Yada, yada, yada. And so we had threw out a few days out there, like when we could maybe work around, but we did not like decide on an actual like date, like I'm coming this day, this time, be ready. Like we didn't like decide, we just kind of like just talked it up and tossed it in the air and played it by ear, right? That's kind of how we were talking about it. By the way, Stuart is very insanely close with his grandma, because he's not from here, and so she is one of the few, not the only, but one of the few family members that he has down here with him. And so rightfully so, he's very, very close with her. And so she's kind of like an elderly woman, and she gets sick quite a lot, right? And so I remember we had not talked since the whole conversation of me asking about his trip and him giving my number to Tyler without my permission. Like we had not talked since then, and so it had been a couple of days that had passed. And so I remember during that conversation, when I was asking about his trip, he had mentioned that his grandma was sick, right? And so I feel like really bad whenever like she gets sick, because that's kind of like almost all he has, so to speak. And so it was a couple of days after we had that conversation, and I was at work and I was on my break, right? And so because I remember we hadn't talked since then, I remember that he told me that his grandma was sick. I just texted him trying to be genuine and nice, asking him, if she was better, how she was feeling, because I just wanted, check on how that situation was going, because I know that they're really close, and I just wanted to be nice, try to be nice, I guess. So I was at work and I was on my break, and so I texted him, how is she doing, whatever, right? And so mind you, my phone is on D&D. If you know me, you know my phone stays on D&D. And so he texted me back, but like I said, I'm on my break and I'm watching The Office on my phone, eating a bag of chips, right? And so he calls me, and like I said, my phone's on D&D, but if you call twice back to back, the call will go through. And so I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, did you see my text? I was like, no, my phone was on D&D. And so I went back and he did like text me back, but like I said, I didn't see it. I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm just kind of that kind of person, right? And so he was like, okay, well, yeah, I was just saying that, yeah, my grandma's doing good and that I had some tea for you, right? And so, like I said, like we're just cordial with each other. And so I'm thinking like he's calling me about like something stupid that happened at work, or just like anything besides what this man said to me. I thought he was calling me about, right? So you know what this man says to me? He goes, yeah, you were right. This whole time I was with Kenzie when I told you that I wasn't, yada, yada, yada. So remember when I said that I would go to get my car wash, right? We were kind of like chat and joke with each other, like, oh, who you talking to now, whatever, right? So I will always like joke with him, like, oh, you haven't hit up Kenzie since then or whatever, right? Just not really even being serious. Y'all, the whole time he was actually in a relationship with her, right? So why is he calling me, telling me this, right? Why is he calling me, right? So he calls me and he's just like, yeah, the whole entire time I was with Kenzie, yada, yada, yada. And he was telling me about how he just found out, I think it wasn't even 24 hours at that point, right? That when he was calling me, telling me about this, that he had, that Kenzie had cheated on him while he was in Cali, I think. And so he's just telling me all of this long story drama, talked up my whole break, y'all. And so, yeah, I know I texted him first, y'all, but I was just asking about his grandma, trying to be a nice person. I didn't ask for all this freaking drama. So he's telling me about how she cheated on him and that he was at her house and cussed her out in front of her mom or something crazy. Like, I don't know, y'all. Like, I kind of just really didn't care. I'm like, why are you telling me this? I don't understand. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, but you just went across the country to see another girl. Like, I'm not understanding. It was so many holes in his story, y'all. I just did not. I didn't even really care to understand, so therefore I didn't ask any questions. And so he's just going off and off and off about this whole long, crazy drama story about how Kenzie cheated on him while he was gone, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm just in my mind like, why are you telling me this? And so his reasoning was, because I felt bad for lying to you, and I just wanted to tell you the truth that I actually was with her, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, what you do after we are not together is none of my business. I do not care. Though I didn't say that, but that's like what I was thinking. And so it just really, like, I did not, even though that's what he said because he wanted to be honest, I still did not understand why he was telling me this out of nowhere. And I'm just trying to enjoy the peace of my life on my break, watching The Office, eating a bag of chips at work, y'all. I just did not. It was insane. It was stupid. And so the only question I really asked him, because when he was going off, I was like dead silent, y'all. I was just letting him kind of go off. And all I essentially said was just like, okay. And so I remember specifically asking, this is the one thing I really wanted to know. I was like, okay, well, when we were together, did you cheat on me? And he said no. And the reason why I asked that, because the timeline was so very close together and so kind of almost overlapping that it almost didn't make sense that he didn't. Though we weren't together, I kind of like didn't really care at that point. But still, I still wanted him to be honest since we were being honest. So I asked him an honest question like, okay, well, did you cheat on me? And he said no. Right. And so I know y'all are probably thinking like, oh my gosh, I thought this was a story time about how your ex cheated on you, not that his ex cheated on him after y'all broken up. Like, why do I care? I'm getting to that, y'all. I'm getting to it. Anyway, so after all that, he changes the subject like it wasn't nothing, y'all. And I think that's kind of scary. Like when you tell somebody something that's like kind of like a big deal or whatever, like, oh, I just killed somebody. Anyways, what you doing? Like, what? Like if you can just change the subject like it's nothing, y'all, it's really insane. So he just goes on to be like, yeah, so I'll see you this weekend, right? Y'all, he was talking about how he knew me and Tyler had been conversing through text about how I was going over to do his hair. And so at that point, I'm like, everything he told me just gave me a big fat ick, right? And so like I said before, we were cordial, but like that right there, I was like, I don't really want you in my life on second thought because you are disrupting my peace. And I guess I should have just kind of let you go like completely all the way when we were broken up. But like, I just thought it would be not a big deal for us to be cordial. But now I know that you are actually a crazy person, right? And so, like I said, he was asking me about me coming over that weekend, and I just didn't really want to see him at that point. But I was like conversing with Tyler, and I told Stuart, I was like, listen, no. We did not set an exact day, so like I don't know, like I'm being like, at that point I was being like kind of awkward because I didn't really want to see this man. And so the fact that he could change the subject that seamlessly, like nothing, like he didn't just say that, was like insane to me. So I said, yeah, I don't know, we haven't set a day, whatever. And he goes, well, if you come over this day, this time, I'll be there. And if you come over this day, this time, I'll be there. Like telling me, like almost trying to get me to line up me doing Tyler's hair during the time he's going to be at the apartment. And I'm just like, no. I mean, I let him talk. I didn't really care. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So I feel kind of trapped because like I had already kind of talked to Tyler, and I mean, I guess I had told him yes, but I didn't tell him a day, but like I still kind of told him that I would, right? So, but then again, I don't want to see this man, and I don't know Tyler well enough to come to my house. So I'm like, what in the world do I do? Like, how do I like kind of get out of this, right? So later, Tyler texts me and he's talking about hey, like, I don't think my hair is long enough. Like, should we wait a couple weeks? I'm like, yep. Like, I was like, perfect. Like, it worked itself out. I didn't even have to say anything really to Tyler about how like, never mind. Like, I know I said I would, but now I'm not. Like, I don't really like going back on my word anyway. So, but I didn't even have to do that because Tyler was like, my hair's not long enough. I'm like, you got it, buddy. Yep, you're right. So I thought I got out of it, right? So I'm like, okay, whew. I felt a sense of relief. I don't have to go over to that man's house, and I don't have to worry about trying to get Tyler to come over here because that's not going to happen. Like, it just happened to work out, y'all. So at that point, I'm thinking like Tyler's just going to forget about the whole how I was gonna do his hair thing and just like never text me again. And I'm thinking Stuart is definitely never gonna text me again. So I'm thinking I'm just, free at last. By the way, happy MLK Day. Yes, free at last. But anyways, so but sure enough, Tyler did not forget. And he texted me like a couple weeks later, talking about something, hey, I think it's long enough now. And I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. Like, oh, like, when are you free? Yada, yada. And I'm just like, oh my freaking goodness. Like, what in the world? And so y'all are no strangers to the fact that I really don't have that much money. Like, I'm kind of broke. So whenever the opportunity presents itself for me to make money, it's very rare that I'm going to say no. So in my mind, I'm just like crossing my fingers that Stuart is not going to be there. Go over there, do his hair, get my money, and leave, right? But of course, my life cannot be that easy. Of course not. So when I go over there, guess who's there, y'all? Freaking Stuart. When I pulled in the parking lot of his apartment complex and I seen his car, y'all, I was so mad because I haven't talked to him or seen him or said anything to him since he told me that Kenzie had cheated on him. And I just didn't really want that kind of stuff or drama or anything like that in my life. So I didn't talk to him, right? And so hoping that he wasn't going to be there, I could just do Tyler's hair and leave. But of course, it just didn't happen like that, okay? Of course it did not, right? So I walk in, and Stuart is in the freaking living room playing the game. Why can't you go to your room? I don't know. I didn't really want to see this man, but the fact that I did, I mean, I didn't really care because it is what it is, but I'm just like, why? So he's in the living room. Stuart's in the living room playing his little stupid 2K game. And I'm also in the living room, like, doing Tyler's hair because I didn't really want to go in his room, you know what I mean? So I'm just in the living room doing Tyler's hair, and it's just like awkward and like dead silent for a good maybe half hour when I'm doing his hair, y'all. So I'm in there, I'm doing Tyler's hair, and I don't really remember what broke the ice or broke the tension, but I mean, we all ended up, like, all three of us, ended up just, conversing or talking about, life or work or whatever, So after a while, the tension died down a little bit, but, it was still kind of there. And so when I was done, me and Tyler walked out together because Tyler had to take his dog out, right? And so he, like, was just kind of brought it up a little bit and was saying, like, I didn't know that it was any kind of beef. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I hope I didn't, like, make it awkward or anything like that. And I was like, no, you're totally fine. Like, it's not you at all. I mean, I just think it's kind of weird that he called me out of nowhere and told me about all the drama with Kenzie. Like, when I didn't ask him, it was just kind of weird, and it just gave me an ick after that. So I just didn't really prefer to see him today. And so he was like, oh, like, I'm so sorry, like, I didn't know. And I was like, yeah, you're fine. And he was like, I mean, he has a tendency to not really be the most truthful person, and he, like, tries to deceive people and make them think that he is or is doing something that he really isn't, right? And so I was like, yeah, well, I'm understand. I mean, I feel like I always kind of understood that, but now more than ever it's very blatant. So that's why I just don't really want that kind of stuff really in my life at all. And so I just, like I said, didn't prefer to see him, but it is what it is. I hope you like your hair, yeah, I'll see you next time, yada, yada, yada. And so it was just so weird to me, y'all, that he wanted me to think that he was single when he wasn't. Now, hear me out. So, like I said, when I will always go to the car wash, we would talk or whatever, like, he would always make it, even when I didn't ask, matter of fact, make it apparent that he was not with or talking to anybody, but the entire time he was, like, literally in a relationship with Kenzie. And not that that was, like, the issue, because I didn't, like, we were broken up, I didn't really care. To me, the issue was that he wanted me to think that he was single. And I don't know why. Does that make sense? Like, that's just kind of weird to me. Like, I feel like it's like whether you think you do or not, you kind of treat people different when you know they're in a relationship and when you know or think that they're not, right? And so when you are aware of those type of elements in that person's life, even like your body language or just subconsciously, you're not gonna be really the exact same as you would if you knew that they were single, right? And so that's the part that was just really, really weird to me, that he wanted me to think that he was single when he wasn't, And I also thought it was weird that he thought he could just give my number to Tyler without my permission. And so it's starting to occur to me that it was his way of, like, making sure that I stayed in his life, whatever, even though at that point I was voluntarily kind of not even sticking around, because that has a bad connotation, but just, like, not treating him no kind of way, just, acting like, life is life. Let's just keep going with our own lives, because not that important. We're not getting anywhere. Not that important, right? And so because he knew that I didn't really have or probably assumed that I wasn't going to have an issue with me doing Tyler's hair, then I guess, like, in that way, he would still, be able to, I guess, see me whenever I would come over and do his hair. I don't know. Like, that's just kind of what started to occur to me. Like, because I guess he knew if I knew all that stuff first, then he would not, that I wouldn't want to go over and do Tyler's hair, and that he would probably not see me ever again. And I guess that's not what he wanted. I don't know. Like, it just, all of it was so kind of psychotic to me. Anyway, so a couple weeks go by. I haven't talked to Stuart, like, at all, because I just didn't really care to, for obvious reasons. And but Tyler would ask me, when I was available to do his hair again, and I was just kind of like, okay, I guess, like I said, I'm not gonna turn down the money. So yeah, that next time I went over there, Stuart wasn't there, thank God, right? And so he was at work or something. So the next time I went there, it was just me and Tyler. And at that point, I thought Tyler was actually pretty cool. And like I said before, I didn't really know him all that well. But, like, by that time, I kind of felt like I did at least a little bit more. And so because me and Tyler have something in common, with Stuart being his best friend and him being my ex, Stuart would inevitably kind of come up in conversation here and there. Like, not that we would just be like, hey, let's talk shit about your friend. Like, no, it would just kind of be like, I don't know, we both would have that one thing in common, so it just kind of would come up sometimes. So, like, here and there, if Stuart, like, kind of came into the conversation, it would be some stuff that would come up that I didn't know about, and it would be some stuff that I would say that Tyler didn't know about. And so he would be like, huh? And I would be like, what? And so, like, we found out that Stuart would lie to kind of both of us, and we were filling in each other's holes, so to speak, right? And so one of the main things that Tyler got upset about was the fact that he did not know that Stuart gave him my number without my permission. He thought I was okay with it. And I was like, I mean, at that point, it wasn't a big deal to me because that was before he told me about the Kinsey thing. So that's why I didn't really say anything. And so, but then after he told me that, that's when I kind of felt trapped and stuck and I didn't really know what to say. And I know you're a really nice person, so I didn't really want to like go off on you. So I didn't really know what to do. And he was like, I feel so bad because like I thought you were okay with it. If I knew you weren't okay with it, then I would have just like found somebody else. Like there's plenty of people that can do hair, you know, and I just thought that you would be the easiest because like I know he knew you and like I wasn't trying to like make any drama. And I was like, no, I totally understand. Like he told us two different things. And so it was like kind of beyond that. Oh, sorry, y'all. It was kind of beyond that of other things that he would say that I knew that he didn't know or vice versa. So it got to a point where like I was hearing all this stuff from his friend, from his best friend, that I felt like I never even knew him. Like it was some stuff that he was telling me that like was just so completely opposite of what I knew, what he told me, or what I thought I knew. And the same thing with Tyler. It was so many things that I was telling him that he knew or heard or thought he knew. And so it just all, the whole, like, it just all felt so weird. Y'all all felt so weird. And so, like I said, at that point, I felt Tyler was pretty, Tyler was pretty cool. And I was already at the point where I didn't want anything to do with him, but it was now at the point where like I didn't even know who he was. Like your friend is telling me all this stuff that, I mean, and the reason why I kind of feel like I know the friend wasn't lying is because it was stuff that he said that Stuart told me, but it wasn't the whole truth. And so I was pretty much just getting the behind the scenes. Like he wasn't twisting anything that he was saying or what actually happened. He was just telling me the entire story. Does that make sense? So now from that point on, when I needed my car washed, I would go when Tyler was there, not when Stuart was there. So and from that point on, me and Tyler only really texted when he wanted his hair done or I wanted my car washed. That's pretty much the only time we really talked. You know what I mean? And of course we had conversations while I was doing his hair. But other than that, like I didn't really like talk. I don't want it to turn into like, oh, I got with his best friend type story. That's hold on, that's not what happened. So I just want to make that clear. That's the only time we really talked, me and Tyler, was when he wanted his hair done or when I wanted a car wash. So whenever I did do his hair, you know, like it would still just inevitably, y'all, stuff would just more and more and more stuff would come to the light. You know, it was actually insane about how much I really didn't even know about my own ex, or at the time even boyfriend, you know. So about 10 days ago, like from today, like now, current time, so about 10 days ago or so, I texted Tyler asking him when he was, like, what his schedule was so I could go up there and get my car washed, right? And so, because, you know, school's gonna start back and I just like to have a car wash or just, you know, new stuff whenever you're about to do a little transition period. You know how, like, you clean your house for good when you're gonna go on vacation, or, like, you might get a pedicure when you're about to do this. I don't know. I just like to get a car wash whenever I'm about to go back to school after a break, right? And so I texted him and I asked him, you know, when's your schedule? Like, when are you there? And so instead of, he usually tells me when he's there, but this time he actually sent me a picture of the schedule, right? And so he's never done that before. And so he was telling me that yellow days, I think, is when he opens, and like blue days is when he closes, or something like that, right? I'm like, okay, cool, right? And so I didn't text him back for like a good couple of days because I wanted to like kind of get all my ducks in a row, make sure my schedule was good before I texted him and telling him that I was coming to get my car washed, right? And mind you, Tyler, I didn't say this yet, but Tyler is also a manager just like Stuart is. So Tyler can give me a free car wash. So that's why, like, I still, you know, it's still free. So I don't want you to think like I'm just going up there to see Tyler. No, like, I just want a free car wash because why not, right? Anyway, so I texted him like this past Tuesday, I think, telling him like, hey, like I think I'm gonna come Friday, yada yada yada. And he was like, okay, cool. And then so I kind of make like a little joke because like I said, he sent me the picture of the schedule and I see that Stuart's name obviously is on the schedule. And so I said, oh, I see that you and your friend are not, y'all are not there at the same time, ha ha ha. And so because I see that the schedule is kind of staggered, you know, they never worked at the same time, you know, that could be because they're managers, it could be because of anything, you know. I was just like making a joke. And so Tyler goes, yeah, I'm glad, haha. And I'm like, well, why is that? And so Tyler goes on to say about how he was just kind of just tired of how he treated him and just tired of just like everything that was going on, right? So remember how I said that Stuart and Tyler and the third guy were living together, right? And so the past couple times when I have done his hair, Tyler had mentioned that they were having issues with like paying the rent and stuff because Stuart would like not do his part, or like, and he would like owe them money, right? But this was a while ago. And so I'm texting Tyler like, I thought y'all were over that, like I thought like everything was fixed. And he was like, no, like we've literally gotten 2 late notices, like we were almost like about to get evicted. And like he's just like telling me, like just spilling it, because I guess at that he was like at his breaking point. He was just so tired of like Stuart and his crap, and he was just kind of being a bad friend to him and all that stuff. And so I felt kind of bad because like Tyler, like I said, y'all, Tyler was a really sweet, nice person. He never did nothing to nobody, right? And so to hear that they were really close to getting evicted because Stuart wasn't doing his part in the rent, y'all, my heart just kind of broke, ain't gonna lie. So this is where everything kind of comes out, right? So, remember how I said Tyler and the other roommate that's not relevant to the story, they were planning on moving out when the lease was up, because they were just, not even just because they were done with Stuart, but because like they just were moving on in life and upgrading, right? I think Tyler's getting ready to go get his master's. I'm not sure what other guy's doing because I don't know him like at all. But yeah, so they were saying they're getting ready to move to Charlotte, I think, to just, get like not start a new life, but just go do better in life, right? And so I was really happy for him, and I was like, okay, good for you. And so I was like, well, did y'all tell Stuart? And he was like, no, but he knows about it. I'm like, well, how does he know about it? Y'all, this part was like a little scary to me. He said that Stuart overheard them talking about it. Mind you, I didn't say this, but like Stuart has a little bit of an anger issue, and I ain't gonna lie, I told Tyler this. I said, you're bold because I'm not gonna screw over nobody that has an anger issue, kind of like how he does. And I don't mean like screw over, like just not. I think they were going to tell him, but like Stuart found out before they got a chance to tell him, right? And so I was like, y'all, I swear, if that was me and he overheard me talking about how I'm about to, no. So that's what I was telling Tyler. And I was like, yo, I would have been scared as all get out. Like, are you good? He was like, yeah, like, I don't really care, because like, he doesn't have any like dirt on me at all. And so like, I know like about everything that y'all probably don't know that he probably told you. I know the full story anyway, so it's nothing he can really do to me. Yeah, so Stuart was planning on moving in with his grandma anyway, so yeah, it all worked out, I guess. But I was just saying like, oh my gosh, like I would still be scared for him, like overhear me talking about how y'all moving out, whatever. And then Tyler was like, I mean, it doesn't really like even matter at this point, because I'm just so done. Like, I'm not really scared of him because I have all the dirt on him. He can't really say anything about me, yada, yada. Like, not like in a threatening way, but like Tyler was just like so completely done and over it, right? And so the tone of the conversation was about how like Stuart just lies to the point where it's affecting other people's lives, y'all. Come on, like almost evicted, like it's affecting other people's lives. So that's like kind of the tone of the conversation, which led me to say, or I kind of made a joke. I was like, well, I hope Kenzie's out there living her best life, right? And so, I was just like kind of joking, but I knew that he would of course lie to her too. And even though I don't really know her like that, she's still a human being that deserves respect. And so I was just making a joke like, well, I hope she's out there living her best life, because shoot. And he was like, Tyler was like, yeah, I hope she is too, because he cheated on her all the time. And I was like, dang, are you serious? Like, that's terrible. He was like, yeah, he sure did. And he was like, do you want to know the truth? And I was like, at this point, it doesn't matter. I mean, yes, everything is already seems to be out in the open now, but I guess there's more, right? So Tyler goes, he was dating you and 2 other girls at the same time. Y'all, when I tell you, I busted out laughing so hard. I was laughing so hard to the point where I felt like I was gonna pee on myself, y'all. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. It was just, I don't know why. It was just so fun. So funny to me. I was like, wow, me and 2 other girls at the same time. Like, what the heck? Like, it was funny to me, okay? It didn't really hurt my feelings to break my heart, y'all. It was funny to me. Funny. Anyways, so I was laughing to the point where I just couldn't breathe, right? And so I was like, Tyler, why are you just now telling me this, man? Like, I thought it was cool. Like, why are you just telling me this, And so not that I really cared at that point, but Tyler was like, I did not have all the pieces together. The timeline was kind of messy, so I didn't really know, so I didn't want to say anything, right? And so I'm like, okay, that's fair. And so he was like, basically ended up piecing the timeline together himself. And so he's all like, this is how it happened and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, well, that's actually kind of clever if you ask me. Like, how do you even date 3 girls at one time? Like, how do you even have the time for all that? Yeah, right? So apparently Kenzie, another girl, they don't go to my school, but they go to a different school than I do. But Kenzie and the other girl go to the same school, if that makes sense, right? And I don't know, they the other school that they go to is out of town, and I don't know, but it was just a hot mess. And so I was like, well, that's what that is, and that's actually kind of funny. And I guess the icing to the cake was that I found out that last conversation in March that we had, me and Stuart, when we were like completely done, we had just moved in. Apparently Kenzie was supposed to move in too. Yeah. So, but they had gotten into some kind of fight, and she didn't end up moving in or something like that. And I think he set it up in a way where that would make it easier for him to pay the rent, because it didn't work out that way. Now he was like struggling to pay rent and almost getting evicted, and owing Tyler and the other roommate money. I don't know, y'all, but that just goes to prove whatever is done in the dark will come to the light. Okay. Anyways, so this will forever be funny to me. I didn't even end up going to get my car washed this past Friday because Tyler had caught a cold. So yeah, but I guess that is the end of my story. I hope you had a good laugh about how my ex freaking cheated on me. I think it's just it's just ridiculous. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the story. But before I go, I do want to say a couple things about the whole coaching situation in Seattle and Pete Carroll. So y'all know I am a huge Seahawks fan, and so everything that's going on in Seattle right now does kind of hurt my feelings like a lot. I will say I actually haven't even like read anything or looked at any of the videos because it is that heartbreaking. So I'm just kind of still in denial about the whole thing, but I am aware that essentially he will not be the head coach anymore. And it really does break my heart because he's been the head coach since I've been a fan. And so even if you're not a Seahawks fan, you know that he is like an icon to the NFL, you know, like he's known as like the oldest teenager or something like that, because he just has so much energy. He's very optimistic, and I really love that about him. Even though I don't know him like personally, you know, I have met him, I guess, twice before in my life. I went to when the Panthers played the Seahawks back in 2019. I went, and he actually, where is it? He actually signed like the program that I got like at the game. I know it's like a Panthers one, and you know he signed it. Because that, you know, Charlotte is in North Carolina, so it wasn't far. And so, you know, I went, and you know, I went for my 21st birthday in Seattle. I went to a game, and you know, I also saw him there too. And so I don't know, I just want to say, I guess, I don't know, wrap it up, that even though I don't know him personally, you know, Pete Carroll will forever and always be loved in Seattle, loved dearly. I know all my 12s can relate and know what I'm talking about and this feeling that I'm talking about. So yeah, I guess that's just all I wanted to say to you. I guess, Pete Carroll, I always will appreciate and love your style of coaching, and I will definitely miss seeing you I'm not about to get choked up. Hold on. Seeing you on the sidelines as a head coach, because it's been that way since I've been a fan. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. But anyways, that is really truly the end of this video, guys. So anyways, just know that whatever is done in dark will come to the light. And thank you again to all my new people to getting me to 200 subscribers. I love y'all so much, and I will see y'all next week.